Hey everybody. Well, thought we'd do an update now that we're done lambing. Let you know where we stand. Get everybody covered. Here's our little ones. How you two doing? Huh? All my bottle babies. Yes. That little black and white one over there on the left was the biggest, you were the biggest pain. Yes, you were. Would not take the bottle. Now, in case you're up there, twin girls, you had triplets, only one spot to feed, so I took these two off. The one on the right I'd been feeding from day one. The one on the left got a bottle every once in a while, but not all the time. So I kind of had to train her. But every day I had a prior mouth open. I thought I was going to do this for 8 weeks. I really did. Every time around, I had a prior mouth open. She would not open her mouth. Once you got her mouth in there, she was great. Man, that's all she wanted was that bottle. You just had to get the nipple in her mouth. That was a tough part. But finally, about 2 days ago, she finally came around. So, yes, she did. Finally came around. Now, they will stay in here, maybe a couple weeks. Well, maybe just a week or so, and then move out by the catch pen area where they can spend more time outside. One thing I did, as I'm bottle feeding, I'm now down to 3 times a day. About 7:30 in the morning. I wonder if you can even see with that door. Maybe not. I'll turn you around, all right? Early in the morning, about 1 in the afternoon, and they get about 8 o'clock at night. So they're 3 times. Now that she's taking it, I have a rack I built to put the bottles in. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is set the rack up in here and start getting them to drink off the rack inside. Then when I move them, they'll be used to the rack. So that way it's not a major change. Matter of fact, in her case, in our little black one there, because I was having such a hard time, I was still using a bottle with the nipple that put a lot of milk out. And once she started really taking it good, I wanted to change. But when do you change on the nipple? Because if they see something different. So what I did is I waited till first thing in the morning. When I feed first thing in the morning, that's when they're the hungriest. So on the morning feeding, I changed the nipple over to the different one where the milk didn't come out quite as much. No problem. And we were fine there. So that's kind of the way I do things sometimes. And that's why the bottle rack, instead of starting it out here, I'll start it when they're still where they're at. Let's go outside and see the others. All right, I've let the others, they can still come back here for a while. We're supposed to get a couple days of rain, so I'm definitely going to do that then. Give them plenty of room. And for now, I just got them out in this small area right here. There's the boys, part of them. The other part, I'll tell you what, I don't know what it was this morning, but when I came out to feed this morning, I was sitting in the house and I could hear somebody hitting horns on something. I figured somebody was working on a post. They were working on each other. And I mean, they went at it, and they went at it for quite a while. They wouldn't quit. Even when I started throwing out hay, they really didn't want to quit. So I don't know what got into them this morning, but there was a lot of head knocking going on. On the girls, what I've done, they've been in this pasture over here. Of course, not when the boys are there. And I've turned them out in this far pasture up here. And then I've turned them into this small area here. You can see I've put some gates off at the end, kind of make a little pasture out of it. These 3 pastures, there's no hot wires. Here it's just all woven wire. The next time they go, it'll probably be to this pasture next. And now we're going to have to start getting used to hot wires. So, but everybody's doing good now, right here. That's Cayenne. She's still a little thin. She's kind of always been that way, where she's thin, she's a little hippie, and she's always been that way. But, oops, excuse me, here I noticed that she was that way. Her 2 lambs were just kind of standing around humped up when it was real cold. I separated her, I separated the lambs, I put them inside. I gave them some vitamins and got some vitamins to them for about 3 days, squirt in their mouth, and kept them in, and I gave a heat lamp to them because we were having some cold, wet weather, and they really picked back up after a day or two, but I kept them in about 4 days. And then after that, I went ahead and put them out with Mom, and they're out with her now. She's in good shape. Just to play it safe, I wormed her. I saw her go, and nice solid. She doesn't have anything, any diarrhea or anything like that. Everything was good and solid, so I don't think there's anything to do with worms, but I wormed her just in case, just to be on the safe side. Everybody else is doing well. Our lambs are looking good. Here's our last twins. Yeah, that's Maxine with her last twins right there. They're looking pretty nice. I see brown spots on at least one of them, so maybe one's going to be. Yes, I see you guys. There's little Lomax with the long white stockings. That is little Lomax right there, little ram lamb. And then right next to it, the girl that's got the freckles on her front legs, that's his sister. So all in all, everybody's doing pretty good. Everybody's looking good. Don't have any major problems. So right now it's just see if we can get everybody to be growing like a weed. And there they all go. Everybody's gonna head back in, huh? All right, got one other thing we'll show you real quick here. And I know they're only just a few weeks old. Let's see. We're about 3 weeks old. Maybe the oldest ones are just a little over 3 weeks when we get down to just a little about a week or so. But, oops, turn you so you're not in the sun. We set up the creep feeder already. The creep feeding area is set up. It's got spots where they can get in. Main reason I set up the creep feeder already is they're really big. They're eating alfalfa. So they're getting alfalfa when I'm out here feeding off the hay rack. The lambs are out here, and I even throw some on the ground out here to make sure those lambs can get to it, and everything is fine with that. So they're eating that. They do eat a little grain, but not really that much. So what I do, and you can see it's in there, there's still some grain, sweet feed and stuff in the feeder. But my main thing is, there's grain, but back in the corner, I will give them alfalfa. And what I'm doing, what I usually do, we'll go around real quick. As we've discussed before, I have a round bale that I set up here. Let me close this door. I have a round bale that I set up and pull off of to feed them. Well, the floor ends up with a ton of alfalfa leaves. You always get a bunch of leaves down there. So what I do is I save those leaves, and for like these two little ones, and for those out in the creep feeder, I put them a lot of alfalfa leaves, and they really go to that. So right now, their creep area is more about alfalfa leaves than it is about grain, but it gets them in there. It gets them looking for something else to eat. And so I'm figuring whatever they want to eat, I don't care what they want to eat, as long as they go in there and do something to supplement a little bit. Let me see if I can get the gates. We'll go up with the boys. See if everybody's in good shape after all the fighting this morning. Oh, I forgot, I use this little pasture too. I've had to use the lambs out here kind of the way I planned to set it up, and it works good. All right, guys, is everybody in one piece out here after all the fighting? These two got into a little bit of it too. Yeah, you both did a little fighting, but the big part was over here with these guys. I don't know. For whatever reason, these guys decided they had to do some fighting today to get things going. I'll tell you what, there's still some nice horns on these guys for just being a year old. I'm kind of happy with that. And you guys, yeah, you guys have done pretty good too. Can't complain too much about any of them. Everybody seems to be doing pretty well. They're not really happy that they don't get to be in with the girls. I don't think they really care about that too much, do you? No, you'd rather be with the girls, but can't do it that way, so. All right, not a lot today to talk about. I just wanted to update you on everything, where we stood now after everything else. We'll see. I'm gonna have a video for you. I don't know if it'll be next week or the week after, on bottle feeding, a different kind of way to bottle feed. Maybe you've seen the lamb bars they have with the buckets. My daughter had used those with her goats, but she had some problems with that, and she saw something online from somebody else, came up with an idea. Somebody else had it, she's worked on it. I asked her, would she sit down and let's do a video to show how to set up this bucket feeder. Now, it doesn't work for me only because, well, I guess I could use it now, but I'm going to turn my lambs back out with all the ewes later. So I probably won't mess with it this year. I might try that next year though. But if you have bottle lambs that are just going to be permanent, that's what you got, this will probably be a good thing. Let's see, we might be able to get this done next weekend for next week. If not, 2 weeks, we'll have that. And see if we can show you how to make a bucket, make it easier to bottle feed. See you next time.